You have probably heard the phrase, move fast and break things. It is a widely held belief in business that a certain amount of wreckage is simply the price we have to pay for inventing the future. But the most effective leaders actually operate differently. They solve problems at an accelerated pace while taking full responsibility for the well-being of their teams. They move fast and fix things. Whether it is a broken company culture or a strained relationship, there is a specific playbook for fixing problems quickly. It takes exactly 5 days. To start, think of a specific problem you are facing right now that involves at least one other person. Then, grab a blank notebook. This is a strict requirement. Clear, intentional action in the real world must begin with organized, written thoughts. If your thinking is muddled, your execution will be muddled. Welcome to Monday. Your task today is to figure out what your real problem is. Be prepared, because it is rarely the problem you initially assume you have. As humans, we tend to be overconfident in diagnosing our own issues. To break that bias, turn your original statement into a question. Instead of declaring, "My Gen Z employees are entitled," ask yourself, what is going on with my Gen Z employees? Next, talk directly to the people who have a stake in this problem. Ask things that require a little courage. You might discover that you play a role in creating the exact problem you are trying to solve. Once you have had those conversations, write down your newly discovered problem using a clear logic formula. If this action occurs, then this result happens. For example, if I expect them to accept burnout like I did, then they become disengaged. Replacing an arrogant diagnosis with structured curiosity strips the ambiguity out of your thinking. It reveals the actual obstacles blocking a healthy working relationship. Now it is Tuesday. Today, you are going to draft an actionable experiment. Your prompt is simple. What could you do tomorrow to build more trust than you did today? We usually approach solutions with dominant, convergent ideas based on how things have always been. To break that pattern, apply a divergent modifier. Take a core element and force a new perspective. Exaggerate a condition to its limit, or entirely eliminate a standard requirement. Resist the urge to map out a flawless strategy. A perfect plan is an elusive creature that has never actually been spotted in the wild. Your target today is simply a good enough plan. Letting go of perfection is required. The purpose of Tuesday is not to get it right on the first try. It is to build a sandbox where you can safely test, make inevitable mistakes, and learn. On Wednesday, you are going to share your good enough plan. Pitch it to someone whose life experience has been materially different from yours. This chart shows the law of diffusion of innovations. The first 2.5% are innovators. The next 12.5% are early adopters. The fatal mistake is trying to convince the practical majority. They inherently defend the status quo because they benefit from it. Early adopters have a high risk tolerance. They are comfortable spending time and energy on new concepts because they want to build the future. That is who you need to find. To identify them, set up small barriers, require a brief application process, or ask for volunteers for an unpaid pilot project. Those minor hurdles filter out the complainers and isolate the true volunteers. By ignoring the cynics and focusing solely on early adopters, you generate organic internal demand for your solution rather than forcing it. Good morning, it is Thursday. Humans require stories to make sense of change. Today is about structuring your pitch to start with what you believe so you can activate the team around you. Every effective change narrative relies on 3 strict parts: the past, the present, and the future. We frequently skip over that past part. A new leader comes in, ignores the history, and immediately acts like a company savior. Instead, explicitly honor what the previous team built. Once you validate that history, tell them about the future using vivid, specific language. Explain exactly what it will feel like when your plan becomes reality. Honoring the complicated truth of the past secures the emotional grace necessary for a team to embrace an uncertain future. It is Friday. The payoff for this week of preparation is that you now get to execute your newly refined, peer-tested plan immediately. There is one strict rule for today. You must actively strip out all unproductive administrative hurdles that stand in the way of taking action. Refuse to tolerate delays. Do the work with a sense of urgency. When you remove the friction, the execution carves out a path instantly. This has a distinct psychological impact on an organization. Urgency releases massive, undeniable energy into a stagnant system. Taking immediate action is the ultimate proof to your stakeholders that you take the problem and their well-being seriously. Look at the trajectory. You moved from a muddled, assumed problem on Monday to a diagnosed, logically structured, and rigorously tested solution by Friday. Because you put in the structured work of this playbook, you are far less likely to cause collateral damage. You have earned the right to move fast without breaking things. Our default corporate timeline lets problems drag on for months or even years. Tolerating that timeline is a failure of leadership. Open that blank notebook. Define your problem. Start your Monday step immediately. Every stubborn problem deserves a metabolic rate that honors the frustration and the real pain of the status quo. The only acceptable time to start fixing it is right now.